There we see the 2-litre cars. First of all, the new entry in the 92 Championship, the BMW 320i, the smallest capacity version racing in the German Championship of the BMW marque. Super aerodynamics, but fighting a weight penalty. 1,315 kilos, almost 500 kilos heavier than some of its competitors. Another new car for 92, the new Opel Astra 16-valve. The existing example, the Opel Kadett in Germany, one of the front-running cars. Now the new car, more advanced suspension, supposedly better handling, also a limited slip differential on the front that helps the car put the power down better from that 172 brake horsepower 2-litre 16-valve engine. It's the engine which is shared with the older car, the Opel Kadett, but the early Opel Kadett very quick and very successful in the Tourenwagen Trophy in earlier years, but it's a real handful with the beam axle rear suspension. So there you see 3 of the cars contesting the 92 2-litre category of the Tourenwagen Trophy. There, though, is the main opposition to the Opels, the Peugeot 309 GTI, the 16-valve car. A little bit humdrum in its looks, but very quick indeed. 168 brake horsepower, but look at the weight, down under that magic 900 kilo limit. Only the new Astra is capable of running lighter. So now the battle between the 2 cars at the season start at Hockenheim, and already there's trouble in the 2-litre class. The new Astra being destined to follow in the footsteps of the Kadett, the advantage of that new suspension starting to work, but protests from Peugeot already against the limited slip differential, which they say Peugeot isn't standard according to the Group N regulations. Well, the man who put the protest in is Joachim Schürer, the Peugeot driver, and he tells us what he thinks of the new Opel Astra and the championship. He's saying, in actual fact, in the Opel Astra on the road, there's no such differential available. You can't buy that differential to go on the road car. There are other reasons for our protest, which we've asked to be checked by the ONS and FISA, that's the German organisation, and the European Championship. He said we want to have a decision early in the season because we want to have a clean Group N championship without the doubts hanging over it through the year. Well, Roland Senger, the driver and man behind the development of the new Opel Astra, he has a different thought on the protest. He said, we don't have any details on the protest yet, but some days ago we got a telegram from the ONS telling us only to use a free differential. That's one without the mechanical locks. He said all of our testing would become void, but despite that, we're going out today, he said, without the differential. We'll prove that we've got a top-class car, differential or not. Well, fighting talk from Roland Senger. It's going to be a very interesting season on the racetrack. The battle between Opel and Peugeot starting early. And, of course, we shall see whether that develops throughout this championship. And also in the course of the season, in actual fact, at round 5 at Zandvoort, a second condition was imposed on the Astra by the ONS. The homologated weight of the car was increased by 50 kilos. That meant that the cars had to carry 50 kilos of ballast. So on to the racetrack after the politics, and round 1 at Hockenheim, and the pole setters were Gindorf and Schürer, the 2 Peugeot drivers, with Roland Senger in the Opel, 3rd on the grid, for 15 laps of the Hockenheim circuit. Well, in the early laps, it was Mark Gindorf leading Franz Posch in the 2-litre category in the Peugeot, then the Kadett. Roland Senger in the Astra running 3rd, Joachim Schürer 4th, and Mark Gindorf heading for retirement on the 3rd lap with engine damage. But already the battle between Senger and Schürer showing the scars. The Opel in front, Schürer losing his rear bumper after the nose-to-tail battle. Joachim Schürer fighting back, bumper trailing, he forces his way past Roland Senger. This the highlight of a very spectacular 2-litre battle. Both the engines running at maximum RPM on this very fast circuit. But meanwhile, another battle. Mundig in the Astra touches Kowalski's Opel Kadett. Kowalski spinning to retirement, Mundig heading on to 4th place in the class. But the duel going all the way down to the checkered flag. Roland Senger and Joachim Schürer dicing every inch of the way. Peugeot versus Opel through the complex for the final time. It could be either car going for the checkered flag, but it's Joachim Schirrer in front coming out of the final corner. The flag is readied. First blood in the 2-litre category goes to Joachim Schirrer. Senga in second place, Franz Posch making it a third place for the Opel cadets, but first blood to Peugeot. By round 4, the Nurburgring North Bend, the Nordschleife, the 24-hour race on this classic long circuit, and the battle is in full flight. Mario Hebler taking pole position ahead of Senga and Mundig. Senga had gone on to win round 2 at Zolder with an easy lead in the small class. And he's now 17 points clear of Gindorf and Burke in the Peugeot and the Cadet, third overall, ahead of Rudiger Schmidt in the Sierra Cosworth. Running in second place on the Nordschleife, that's Marco Mundig in the Astra. 2 sixth places and a 4th place already, so the Astra proving its pace. But treacherous conditions on the Nordschleife. This one of the most daunting and demanding circuits in the world. 14 miles per lap, over 70 corners, almost 1,000 gear changes, even in the very torquey Group N cars. But it was bad luck for Schirrer and Senga for Peugeots without too much knowledge of the circuit. But it's Schirrer who won the race on the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. But heading for the checkered flag, it was this man, Roland Senga, very spectacular in his style, taking full advantage of the handling and the dramatic road holding of the new Opel Astra to take the checkered flag at the Nürburgring. So the classic gold laurel of the Nürburgring going to Roland Senga. The applause from his teammates high in the Eifel Mountains. So Senga, Mundig and Mullig a 1-2-3 for the Astras as we move on to the 5th round of the championship, Zandvoort in Holland, 6 weeks after the wet Nürburgring. Front row again, it's the Astras first and second at Nürburgring, now first and second on the grid, Senga and Mundig. And it's Senga and Schmidt leading the championship with 74 points each. The young driver Danny Burke with an extended 2-litre class lead at the Zandvoort. Danny Burke in the Müllner team, Opel Cadet, dominating this race, but problems for Roland Senga colliding with the spinning Jürgen Weiss in the 2.5-litre BMW. Into the pits for Senga with tyre damage, not able to cover the distance required, so he scores no points and drops to 4th in the championship. Meanwhile, the action continues. Posch in the Astra having a little bit of a tangle with Mollig, and that allows Joachim Schirrer in the Peugeot to get back on terms with the Astras. Still Danny Burke in the lead, then Gindorf in second ahead of Posch, Mollig and Schirrer. And the dogfights go on all the way up and down the 15 cars in the 2-litre category. So Joachim Schirrer again fighting on equal terms. There, one of the 2.5-litre BMWs forcing his way through the field as well. And these 2-litre cars at the Zandvoort proving capable of matching the cars 500 cc's bigger in the next class up. So it's still Danny Burke in the lead of the race, but then it's Joachim Schirrer now moving up ahead of Gindorf and Posch. And again, battling with the 2.5-litre cars, young Danny Burke, graduated from the Junior Championship, the Touring Car Cup last year, now proving one of the pace setters, but no match there for the braking abilities of the Peugeot. But still at the head of that group, it is Danny Burke, heading for the first of the cadet victories of 1992, the last year's car, the older car. But But as the battle goes on in second and third places, is it going to be the Opel Astra, the Opel Kadett, or the two Peugeot 309s heading to the line in that second and third places, vital for the championship points? There, Danny Burke heads across the line, takes the checkered flag, but almost a photo finish between Schirra and Posch. Right on the line. So it's Schirra from Franz Posch by just 38 hundredths of a second, but Danny Burke saying the Kadett, it's lighter weight, it's less tyre problems, and a very good start. He says he is obviously delighted with that victory. So that was the 2 litre action. Join us for more after the break. Hello and welcome back to our Fascination Motorsport special as we take a look at the German Touring Car Trophy for Group N cars, and we're concentrating at the moment on the 2 litre class as we head to Salzburgring for the 6th round of the championship on the classic Austrian circuit. This is Achim Kowalski, the pole position man in the 2 litre class in the old shape, the year-old Opel Kadett GSI 16 valve. He said it should have been like this from the start. We always thought that the old Kadett could still be better than the Astra. Very optimistic for his chances in the race, Achim Kowalski. Kowalski from Meersbusch. There, another of the drivers taking advantage of the car. Danny Burke, the young driver who's moved up to the championship in the older car and proved capable of beating the new Opel Astras. And again, Danny Burke, the winner at Zandvoort, heading for the top. Heading the group of 3, Danny Burke leading Roland Senga in car 51, and then Hebler, car 58, Mario Hebler from Berlin, and the young driver Danny Burke holding off all the attacks from Roland Senga. Then behind the leading trio, another pack of 6 drivers led by Mark Gindorf, and a very big moment there for number 6 car, that's Marco Mundig. A wall of death act round and into the gravel trap and out of his 6th place. Beyond the point of no return, and you can see he is furious with himself, but the battle goes on. This is 3rd place man Hebler just getting it back together after a spin. Roland Senga now up into the lead, but Danny Burke still charging hard. The young driver in the year-old car still holding on to the tail of the new Opel Astra. So Roland Senga still leading, then Danny Burke in that 2nd place and trying everything he can to find a way past, and makes it through into the lead of the category again, but now leaves his braking a fraction too late, runs wide. He has to be late back onto the throttle. Roland Senga takes back the class lead. And another big moment. That's Posch, Franz Posch from Siegsdorf, taking a big spin, dropping from 5th place down to 9th. So overall, at the moment, is Roland Senga in the lead, then Danny Burke, then Mario Hebler in 3rd place, and now a very big gap indeed to Mark Gindorf, the Offenburg driver, in 4th. But some very close racing indeed going on for the lead of the 2 litre category. Some battered body panels. Big dent now in the left-hand near side door of car number 54. That's Danny Burke. But now it's Roland Senga heading for the checkered flag, and it's Roland Senga takes the checkered flag, now leading the small class ahead of Gindorf and Burke on championship points and 3rd overall in the championship. But now it's on to the Airfield race at Siegerland, one of these converted airfields, operational till the day before the race. Then the cones come out, the perimeter track is marked off, and the cars go racing. It's the solution to a limited number of circuits in Germany. The Group N cars in their element on this, matching even some of the turbocharged Ford Sierra Cosworth with their performance. And an easy lead for Roland Senga in the Opel Astra. Pole position man Franz Posch now dropping down out of the top 5. So it's Senga ahead of his teammate Reinhold Mollig, then Joachim Schirra and Gindorf battling for that 3rd place. And Hibler joining in the battle too, Mario Hibler and Mark Gindorf Peugeot versus Opel, battling right away through this championship. Don't forget, these are just the 2-litre cars. There you see one of the turbocharged over 2.5-litre cars, but getting it all wrong at the chicane, getting a very big nudge. It's Franz Posch again. At the control tower chicane, rejoins the circuit after a quick excursion onto the grass. But Senga still leading the race. Hebler now ahead of Gindorf, moving up to attack Joachim Schirrer for that second place. Mark Gindorf in the Peugeot, really very much on a charge. Well, Gindorf in trouble, we speak too soon. Gindorf starting to drop back down the field with his Peugeot, obviously has a mechanical problem. That's allowing Hebler, Mario Hebler now to attack Joachim Schirrer for his second place. Senga still leading the race. Joachim Schirrer in that second place, but coming under increasing pressure from Hebler. And heading to the checkered flag, it was Senga from Hebler from Schirrer. Well, Roland Senga saying, I think I've still now got a good chance of becoming the Touringwagen Trophy champion. Leaders in the big class, Kelleners and Schmidt, aren't very far away. We've still got to take, though, the maximum points. And I might be a lucky third in the championship, but this is the final round, the race at the Avusring at Berlin. The pole position man is Gindorf. Second on the grid is Joachim Schirrer, and Roland Senga down in 5th place at the start. And it's Schirrer taking the lead ahead of Senga, overcoming problems from practice to move up to 2nd place on the opening lap of the race. But it's Peugeot currently leads from the Opel Astra. Then we've got 2 of the 2.5-litre BMWs. Damage already to the front of the Opel Astra, muscling his way through on the first 2 corners of this very fast circuit. Now the big 2.5-litre cars dominating the overall results, starting to lap the 2-litre machinery. But don't forget, the battle is as close as ever for the championship. It's Hebler and Posch passing Kathofer for 3rd, 4th and 5th places, but it's Joachim Schirrer from Roland Senga in that 2nd place. Heading for the checkered flag, Joachim Schirrer takes the victory. Roland Senga, though, takes 2nd place and maximum championship points ahead of Schirrer. Franz Posch 3rd in the championship. So those are the final standings in the 2-litre class. We shall see later whether that is enough to give him the overall title.